Yo, what is up, my people? Today we are diving into the wildest, most tragic, yet somehow hilarious events in recent hip hop history. That's right, we're talking about Drake's latest album drop. Because let's just say the numbers ain't numbering like they used to. Valentine's Day 2025 rolls around, and while most of you are out here struggling to figure out whether that situationship is going to evolve into something real or just fizzle out after a fancy dinner, Drake and Party Next Door decides to drop an album together, and the world, or at least the part of it that either thrives on toxic love songs or just enjoys hearing Drake's latest emotional crisis, went wild. Now, I don't want to be that person, but if you're a Drake fan, you might want to sit down, grab some comfort food, and maybe a support group, because what I'm about to say might hurt a little. And if you're new in the channel, do not forget to subscribe. Alright, let's break it down. When SSS For You first dropped, people thought it was going to be an instant classic, right? Drake's back, he's about to bless us with some bangers. But turns out a lot of people just streamed it once out of pure curiosity. The same way you'd look at a weird bug before deciding, yep, that's disgusting, and moving on with your life. Now, I've always been cool with Drake dabbling in R&B. He's not exactly Usher, but man knows how to set the mood, drop some good lines. But recently, this album has me sitting down and really listening to the album, and it gave me a realization. Like, just maybe I've been way too forgiving about Drake singing in the past. I mean, the man can hold a note well enough to get by, but has he ever really been a singer? Like, if we step back, stripped away the production and the autotune and the whole soft boy aesthetic, would Drake still be an R&B artist or just a rapper trying to get in his fields? And I think at this point we all see Drake's streaming numbers fall faster than my motivation to pay bills in my 20s. Like, bro, I wake up every day and make the difficult choice between rent or eating something other than instant noodles. Meanwhile, Drake wakes up thinking people were gonna put his album on repeat like it was Take Care. But nope. We've moved on like an ex who suddenly got really into yoga and self-care. And speaking of breakups, let's talk about Kendrick Lamar. Listen, I don't know what kind of sage incest this man burnt before he started dissing Drake, but whatever it was, it worked. My guy hit Drake with lyrical fatalities, and now Kendrick's music is still streaming higher than Drake's brand new album. Imagine dropping 21 songs and still losing to a diss track that came out months ago. And it's not Kendrick Lamar only though. The Weeknd, Bad Bunny, Tyler the Creator, heck, even Eminem's last album is doing better than Drake's new one. And Eminem has been rapping for so long, he probably got disses written in parchment paper with a feather quill. But let's be honest, the real Al here isn't just about the numbers, it's about the fact that this album is just boring. Like, Drake, my guy, what happened? This album got about as much energy as me trying to get out of bed on a Monday morning. I get it, Drake has been making music for over a decade, but doesn't mean we gotta sit through 21 songs of him being on autopilot. At least For All the Dogs had some moments people talked about. This one is an album that's so forgettable, I had to double check that I even listened to it. Meanwhile, Kendrick, The Weeknd, and Bad Bunny are over here treating music like it's a competitive sport. You got Kendrick Lamar outstreaming Drake with a song that's basically just him dunking on him for 3 minutes straight. Like, imagine dropping a whole album just to lose to a song called Not Like Us. That's got to sting. Now look, I'm not saying Drake's career is over, but if this album were a job interview, let's just say he's not getting a call back. I mean, when even SZA's deluxe version of an album from 2 years ago is doing better than your brand new project, that's when you gotta sit back and re-evaluate some things. Like, as much as I'm saying all this thing, Drake still sometimes get it right, meaning Nokia. When I heard that track, I had to sit back like, damn, I didn't know Drake had this bag. And I really feel like if he had dropped Nokia as a single, I would have been fully convinced that he was about to deliver a classic. But then the rest of the album happened, and I found myself asking, what the actual heck is this? Because listen, I wanted to believe in Drake's R&B abilities, I really did. But about halfway through this album, I had to accept that this wasn't really an R&B album. It was just a collection of horny boy music You know exactly what I mean. The type of song dudes put on at 2 a.m. while debating which girl they should text up. The album is really giving, where the vocals don't actually have to be good, they just have to sound like they belong in the background while you make questionable decisions. And this is where the album really lost me, because instead of fully committing to the R&B lane, Drake decides to drown himself in auto-tune and just hope for the best. The amount of auto-tune was truly overwhelming for me, but I could really tell he was trying to give us another Views kind of album. But goddamn, I just don't think I'd be listening to SSS album again by free will. And don't even get me started on some of these lyrics. Drake, my guy, there's only so many times you can talk about dating girls so young that their moms are kicking them out of their house, because at some point it stops being a flex and starts being, well, something entirely different. And now that I think about it, when Drake needs a singer, he gets a singer, but when he's singing, he's not really carrying the track. He's just there floating over the production, hoping the vibe will do the heavy lifting. And Party Next Door, I don't know what he was trying to do, but at some point he sounded like he was doing his best Young Thug or Future impression instead of just being himself. And listen, I'm not even mad that this album wasn't exactly what I expected. I already knew going in that Drake and Party Next Door don't make traditional R&B music, but this album was hyped up like it was supposed to be a game changer, but instead it felt more like a software update, something you download out of obligations but don't really notice any improvement. Like, yeah, sure, some people would listen to it, but did we really need it? Did it actually move the game forward? Because if anything, the world of R&B was doing just fine without it. And at the end of the day, this album had its moments, but it felt more like Drake and Party Next Door just threw a bunch of songs together and hope for the best. And that's cool if that's what you're into, but for me, it's a firmware update. Download it, listen to it, but ultimately my life was the same with and without it. And honestly, I don't even know what this means for Drake's future. At this point, he might have to do a rebrand, maybe a feature on a kids show, Drake's World, coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. Okay, hear me out, he could start a food vlog, certified lover chef, because let's be honest, at this point, the only thing people want to see him cook is an actual meal. But what do you guys think? Is this the end for Drake and he's only going to be singing his old bangers to hype us all up, or is this just a temporary L? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because I got way more heat coming your way. Peace.